So now I want to share with you a story. It's not a story that's in the Torah, but it is a story about one of the holidays that is in the Torah. Can you guess what holiday that is? We mentioned it a little bit earlier. You guessed right. It's the holiday of Passover. So I want to tell you a story. Maybe it's like a story you already know, but it's got a little bit of a Passover twist to it. It's called The Little Red Hen and the Passover Matzah. So I'm going to need a few helping things. And one of them, if it's a little red hen, well, she needs to get ready by putting on her bandana because she is going to work. You see, the little red hen realized that the time was coming to plant the seeds, the grains that she needed for the wheat to grow to make her matzah. And so she went out and she asked her friends if any of them would help her plant the grains. She went to the sheep and she said, "Will you help me plant the grains?" And the sheep said, "Not I." And then she went to her friend, the cow, and said, "Will you help me plant the grains?" And the cow said, "Not I." And then she went to her other friend, the dog, and the dog said, "Not I." So I guess I will just have to plant the grains myself. So maybe you can help me. Can you put the grains in the ground? And then she added water. Can you add some water? Yeah, and she waited. She waited for the days to pass, the sun to come up, shine on, and then she watered some more. Can you add some more water to that? That's right. And the grains began to grow. And so she went back to her friends when it was time to reap, to cut down those stalks of wheat. And she said to her friends, "Can anyone help me cut down the wheat?" And who came along? The sheep. And what did the sheep said? Well, the sheep also says, "Bah," but the sheep said, "Not I." And then the cow came by, and the cow also said, "Moo, not I." And then the dog came along and said, "Woof," but also said, "Not I." Well, then I guess I'll just have to cut the wheat down by myself. So let's do that. Let's cut down the wheat. We have our sickle and we're cutting down the wheat. And then she gathered it all together. She wrapped it in a bundle. And then she had so much, it was heavy to carry. She said, "Who will help take this bundle of wheat with me to the miller to have the wheat ground into flour?" And so the sheep came along and said, "Bah, not I." Then the cow came along and said, "Moo, not I." And then the dog came along and said, "Arf, not I." So the little red hen took that big bundle of wheat herself to the miller. And then the miller took the wheat and he ground it in this big stone that he had to put in big circles, and it ground the wheat until it was just fine flour, and put it all in a sack. And the little red hen took that sack and brought it home. And she says, "Now I need to make the matzah." Well, is there anyone who will help me make the matzah? The sheep said, "Bah, not I." The cow said, "Moo, not I." And the dog said, "Arf, not I." So the little red hen said, "Then I guess I will just have to make the matzah myself." And so she did. She poured the flour in a bowl. Can you pour that flour in a bowl? And she added some water. And then she got her big spoon out and she began to stir. Can I see you stir that dough of the matzah? And you know, when we make matzah, we make a matzah, pat, pat, pat. Do not make it fat, fat, fat. Make a matzah, flat, flat, flat. Make a matzah just like that. And so that's what the little red hen did. She made her matzah flat. So let's see how flat you can get your matzah. Are you patting it down real flat? And then she took the dough and she put it in the oven and she timed it. So it was exactly from the time she began to mix the dough out of the oven, it was 18 minutes. And then she got ready for Passover and the Seder. And she set the table and she added things like
Rabbi, you muted yourself.
who was it? Well, it was the sheep and the cow and the dog. They all wanted to have Seder with her and have Passover. And she was thinking, well, you didn't help me plant the grains, and you didn't help me reap the wheat, and you didn't help me schlep the bundle of wheat to the miller, and you didn't help me make or bake it. But you know what? It's Passover, so come on in. And so together they ate the delicious matzah and had a wonderful Seder. The end.